later. First of all, I want to welcome you to this meeting of LEAD IT. LEAD IT stands for Leadership, Empowerment, Apprenticeship, and Diversity in Information Technology. The program has been in existence a little over 2 years, and it was started by a U.S. Department of Labor contract with A&T, which I was lead on that project. With the coming in of the Trump administration, they decided they wanted to go a different direction in apprenticeships, and our contract was summarily terminated after 1 year. It was supposed to be a 5-year contract. We were an equity partner, so our role was to bring in more underrepresented populations, veterans, women, people with disabilities into IT. So that really wasn't what they wanted to focus on. So that's the way it goes. It's life. But I decided to go ahead and to try to keep the project afloat. I'm kind of on my own, single-handed, and I get help from other people, former partners. On that project, IBM was a subcontractor. This group called Share was a subcontractor. They are in the mainframe space, and a couple of others, national organizations. But I'm glad I did, because now it seems like we're at the point now where we're really ready to start placing large numbers of people. So I'm going to go over the agenda. I actually get an agenda so that I can keep up with kind of what we need to cover. And I'll just read it to you. I didn't send it to you guys. I try to keep my emailing to an absolute minimum. So it's going to be an introduction. There is going to be an overview of LEAD IT for people that aren't familiar with it. I'm going to give you an update on both BB&T and IBM, and I may do IBM first because BB&T is probably the more weighty conversation, or has more content in the BB&T conversation. Can everybody hear me okay? Do I need to speak up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, thanks. And then I'm gonna propose to you guys, because while we don't have any formal training in this project, you've seen that I have sent out a lot of, I've posted a lot of training resources on the website for you to do self-study. Well, I want to go a little bit further and recommend some kind of voluntary, informal training team. I'm going to build them around functional areas. For example, Linux. There'll be a Linux training team, and you'll just collaborate. If you want to be a part of the team, that training team, you'll send me emails. Say, I want to be on the Linux team. I want to be on the Windows team. I want to be on the networking team, et cetera, et cetera. There won't be any duties, you guys. It will be a self-controlled group, because we have several people on here who do have a good bit of technical expertise, so they can play leadership roles if they're so inclined. You guys need to do it. I will say this, and I see several of my A&T students on here. IT is a team sport, right? So you need to get used to working with other people and working with other people virtually, because that's what you're going to be doing in any job in IT you get that I know of. So without any further ado, I'll get to the agenda. So let me introduce myself, first of all. And it's so good to see so many of you on here. I know many of you I've had email conversations with. My students, of course, I know personally. Had phone conversations with several of you. And I just decided to add a process, add something to the agenda that I neglected. I'm going to describe and explain the process of how we do this, because that's important also. So I'm a professor at North Carolina A&T State University. I may be moving to another university. I don't know yet, so it's kind of up in the air. But I'm going to be teaching somewhere. I basically teach mainframe, and we'll talk a little bit about mainframe here. But of course, the conversation is not going to be limited to mainframe. Been teaching about 15 years. I was in industry for 21 years before that, in a variety of roles. None of the mainframe-centric roles. I was a DBA, I was a network administrator, I was a programmer, project manager. So, and then for the last few years of my industry career, I was a senior technical manager. So I did a lot of hiring and a little firing, not much firing, but a lot of hiring people. And I teach IT at A&T. I teach mainframe, but I taught Java programming there for 5 years also. I taught programming at a couple of universities. So that's about me. Lead IT, of course, gave you a little description of Lead IT. So we focus on apprenticeships, right? Because here are the numbers. Today, as we speak, there are 500,000 unfilled IT jobs. That's a fact. The total number of computer science graduates last year was less than 50,000. So you do the math, right? There's not enough people with degrees and if you add IS and IT programs, you're still less than 20% of the people that you need are going to have degrees. So industry looked at this and industry said, well, we need another solution. Well, the solution is an apprenticeship model where you decouple the job requirements from degrees and make them competency-based. What does a person know how to do? I see several of you on here that are not pursuing degrees, don't have degrees and are not pursuing degrees, but you have very deep technical skills, very deep, through self-study, through job, previous job, etc. And you're pretty much ready to go. So the job of Lead IT is to identify these people and give them whatever preparation they need to make them qualify for these jobs. Now, we've got about 5 companies signed up for this, right? IBM is placing apprentices in the mainframe space, of course, because IBM makes mainframe, but other areas too. Software developers, cloud administrators, et cetera, et cetera. So there's IBM, there's BB&T, there's Cisco. Now, Cisco is kind of a closed shop. And what we're trying to do with Cisco is transition them from being a degree-based program, which they are now. The apprenticeship program is based at A&T and San Jose State, and getting them to understand that they need to decouple that from degrees. And they've agreed to that because they need a lot of people. And everybody needs a lot of people. BB&T wants to hire probably between 140, 160 people. That's their number, over the next 12 to 16 months. And they're just not going to find people with degrees. And they're not enough people with degrees. So as far as I know, we're the only entity that provides the service. And word's getting out, because we have a very kind of structured program that when we send a company a resume, they can rest assured that they need to interview that person. That person is qualified to at least interview. They don't have to comb through Monster.com or whatever the other job search engines are. They don't have to go through that. They can just look at this subset of people and interview all of those. And so the last time we place somebody, we do have a placement at BB&T. Young man, and he's doing very well there. He's a Linux administrator. He's already has his own tasks, already leading a team. They're putting him through, the Red Hat certification training. So it's working. But we sent them 4 resumes, and their feedback to us was all 4 of those people were a good fit for that job. And it came down to a judgment call. And, they just had to, because they only had one apprenticeship job. So let me stick with the agenda. So that's probably all the overview of Lead IT we need. There's a website. I think many of you have seen the website. I'll show it on the screen for those of you that haven't, because there's a lot of first-time participants on here. Where is it? And let me share the screen so you can see that. So this is the website. And, one-man band, I do everything project now. We are looking at a funding model because we told BB&T this project is not going to be, we're not going to be able to place 150 people with no resources. and we don't have a federal contract now. Now we are applying for funds with the federal government now. Hopefully those funds will be forthcoming, but and I don't have the time because I'm doing some things. I'm writing a book this summer, and I'm doing a bunch of other things, and got a bunch of projects going on. So I don't keep it up as much as I should. I mean, anybody can volunteer. So I've got to sign up here. So those of you that haven't signed up, you can get on a mailing list here. Many of you have done that already. Here is the tool section. And what I'm going to do is break this down into functional areas more manageable. So when you click on the tools, there's going to be a Windows section, there's going to be a Linux section, et cetera, et cetera. And I want the informal collaborative teams to use that material and develop within themselves a self-study. And it's not going to be, I mean, we all have different schedules, but I want you guys to, I mean, this thing is serious now. We've got to become IT professionals. And most of you have not had IT jobs. Some of you have, most have not had an IT job. So we know you need to learn how to do things the way IT people do it. So I strongly encourage you to join one or more of the functional areas and figure out how you guys are going to get ramp your skills up. So that's that. Okay, let's start with the IBM update. So I sent a link, I posted a link, and I don't know if it's on here. If it's not, it should be for the, yeah. So here is the local, oh, that's only one job. What I need to do is I need to put the link for all of the IBM apprenticeships here. So I'm going to reorganize this thing when I get some time and probably be done over the weekend. And you'll have a link to all the IBM apprenticeships. I sent it out to the mailing group, and some of you have actually applied for some of these jobs. I haven't gotten, not received word on anyone that got an interview yet. And I want to encourage you guys to always keep us in the loop of where you are with, yeah, pause to share, where you are with the with the process, hiring process, because we need to be able to make a business case to industry that this this process works. BB&T is thoroughly convinced about it. So please keep us in the loop of I'm sorry, I got confused there for a second. Hold on, please. Where was I going? There we go. All right, so it's back to the screen share. So keep us in the loop. When you get an interview, send me an email, let me know, because I want to have proof points for industry. So IBM's got these apprenticeships. And another thing IBM has is this thing called Master the Mainframe. It's a self-study activity that is free of charge. I'll send out the link for that. Some of my students on here are aware of it. They had some problems with the partition where the activities were, and it was out of commission for a while, but I've been advised that it's up and running now. I'm reading a chat. Yeah, yeah. So people ask a lot of times, are these remote jobs, or do you have jobs in their area? These jobs are all going to be in North Carolina, as far as I know. Even though BB&T is nationwide, they're still considered a regional bank, and all of their IT operations are in North Carolina, either Raleigh or Wilson, which is where their data center is. So and as far as I know, they're not remote. Now, BB&T did pay relocation for the person that they brought on board. They paid them, I think they paid them $5,000 to help them relocate it. I can't promise you they're going to do that for everybody. They may do it for some and not others. They may do it for all of them. They may do it for none of these new jobs. But I will encourage you. I know some of you have houses and families, and relocation is not an option. But the more you have geographical flexibility, and this is for more you younger people that haven't started families yet, or have your kids are small and your kids are transportable. The more geographical flexibility you have, the better your chances are to get a job. So I'll just say that. And most of them are not remote. So people ask me, are there jobs here, there jobs there? The IBM jobs are pretty much nationwide, but they are where they are. They are where they are. So I have no control over that. And I'm not really in the loop on the IBM process. I'm very much in the loop of the BB&T process and the other companies, the Cisco process. Very much in the loop there. But IBM's kind of, you just apply to them, and that's between you and IBM. Right? I don't really have a lot of that, other than to try to give you help and guide. I've been working with IBM for a long time, and I pretty much know how they think. So I can give you some counsel on that. So that covers IBM. All right, BB&T. BB&T. Let me bring the BB&T jobs up here. So, had a meeting with BB&T yesterday, meeting with the Senior Vice President of IT, who's over probably 2/3 of the IT company-wide. And BB&T is a $12 billion a year company. So they're a Fortune 300 company. I think they're 280 something in the Fortune 500. So they're not a small company. They're a big company, and they're a rich company. And he's over 2/3 of the IT architecture. He has all of mainframe, all of Linux, some networking, some database. There's some other things that aren't his, like the desktops don't belong to him, and he doesn't do desktops, which he's glad of, because desktops can be a headache. Those of you that have managed them know that. Much easier to manage servers than it is to manage desktops. But we have about a 12-year relationship, ongoing relationship. And when we developed this program, he became interested in it because it makes financial sense. Now, I commend them because I don't know of another bank that's doing this. Banks are risk averse, right? So I give BB&T props every chance I get because they took a chance on this. But it really isn't a chance. I mean, they're streamlining the process they have already. So they're going through less headaches. They're minimizing their headaches, right? And have a considerable cost saving. Now, let me explain to you the apprenticeship. Some of you heard this speech before, some of you haven't. The apprenticeship model, you come in, you're a full-time employee with full benefits, day one. What's going to happen is you're going to receive a certain percentage of the market salary for that job, of the full rate for that job. I think it's somewhere between 70 and 80%. I'll get that number to you. Now, it may vary from job to job. BB&T may set a certain percentage to start for all the jobs. And it's up to them how you progress. So after 6 months, you may be raised to 80%. I'm just pulling these numbers. 80%. After a year, you have 90%. After a year and a half, 100%. Right? But you have benefits the whole time. It's a full-time job. It's a permanent hire. Now, here's the deal, right? They've got things that you need to do. For example, this young man, they've got a certification series of certifications that he needs to accomplish. So far, he's doing fine. He's tearing it up. But if you don't perform like any other job, right? They're not married to you. But there is more flexibility in terms of you are not expected to be a high-end performer. Well, you always expect to be a high-end performer, but you're not expected. You're expected to function as an apprentice until you're no longer an apprentice. So that kind of protects you, and it's going to be real clearly documented what you have to do to remain employed. So you won't be in the dark. And as long as you meet your obligation, BB&T will meet their obligation. For example, if you are supposed to have a Red Hat certification at the end of 6 months, and they pick up the tab for all of this, right? They provide the training, and they give you time during the workday to do it, right? So part of your day is to go to Red Hat training. At least that's the way it's worked for this young man. So they cover all that. As long as you hit the benchmark that they have established, you're good. And at the end of whatever period is, it's going to be between 1 and 2 years. Some of them may be less than a year. I don't know, but it's going to be between 1 and 2 years. And it's a great way for you to crack the IT job, because I know some of you out there have tremendous resumes, but you can't get hired. That's because you're invisible to them, right? Companies are limited in how they get people. They get people either internally, right? So someone moves from one job to another. Well, then their head count doesn't increase, but that is the way they identify skills. They go to college career fairs, or they use staffing portals, right? Or they use staffing services, which are really, really expensive. That's probably their least favorite way to do it, because those places charge arm and leg. We don't. Right? We don't charge them anything, at least for the first few. Now, somebody's going to pick up the tab somewhere down the line, either the federal government or the company. But we can't do this for free. So, and they're saving a tremendous amount of money. They're saving time in the hiring process. They're saving time onboarding people. Their retention rate is higher with apprentices than it is with people that they hire otherwise, meaning the employee stays with the company, because it's very expensive to lose an employee. It's very expensive. You sink in a ton of money in an employee, and if that employee is no longer with your company, that's just money down the drain. So, going back to the So let me open up for questions for BB&T. You can unmute your mic manually, and if you have any questions, I'll give you a couple minutes to ask some questions. No questions?
Hey, Dr. Say.
Hey.
This is JD Quinichet. I'm actually Malachi Glass's mom, and I'm so glad that I got this notification. I'm not sure, and I do have a question, but to let you know that he's on his internship with LexisNexis. I don't know if he got in touch with you and told you.
Yeah, I talked with him. I talked with him when he had started. I did. I talked with him last week.
Excellent, good. Well,
how's it going?
He's doing well. Waiting for his username and password. So he's but other than that, he's in a work group, and he seems to be really doing well, and I'm proud of him. But what I want to know is, my background is I'm not with A&T. I'm very interested in what you're saying. I have an associate's in information systems security, and I had started on a Bachelor of Science with Regent for cybersecurity. And so I'm wondering, can you help me? Is this something that I should be looking into? It sounds really interesting.
Sure. I mean, this thing is open to anybody. To be an apprentice, all you have to do is be over 16 and have a high school diploma or equivalency, GED or something. That's it. And you're eligible. Now, you got to be a match for the job, but sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would advise you to just follow the process, and I'm going to send out an announcement for all these BB&T jobs, and you're welcome to send in a resume for any of them.
Okay, sounds good to me. Thank you, sir. That's my question.
Yeah. Anyone else? Because I want to make sure you guys are clear about what we're doing.
Yeah. Hey, Cameron, it's Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar.
I was wondering, for each position, do we have to send in a resume for each position separately?
Yeah, there's certain people like you and other people that I'm not going to ask you to do that, because you've already been interviewed by BB&T and gave a really good interview. They went another direction, but they spoke very highly of you, so they know who you are. So for you, nah, but I mean, and I'm going to explain the process a little bit. That's a good question. Another thing, now what I may do, and I try to be as expeditious as efficient as possible. I don't like a lot of needless back and forth. What I may do is have the folks that are interested in being considered for anything send me a resume. I'll put them in a folder so I know I have their resume. But they're going to have to let me know for each job that they want to apply to. And all they have to say is, the resume that I sent you is my most current resume, right? Or they can send me an updated resume. But you are going to have to specifically send an email requesting to be an applicant for each individual job. But I'm going to try not to have a whole lot of back and forth emails about resumes. I don't need yours. I mean, I've got it. You sent me another copy today, I believe. So you're good. But that's an excellent point. And I may tweak that process down the road. I don't know. But as a matter of fact, I'll issue this out to the group and I'll send out an email list too. I think this is a necessary email. Anybody that wants to be considered for anything is welcome to send me a resume. So I have it. I can start reviewing it. And, because the way the process is going to go. And then when it's now, these jobs, let's go through these jobs a little bit. Let's go through these jobs. I'm jumping around a little bit, but things come up. So database administrators, Microsoft SQL Server and IBM DB2, those are two relational databases. So those of you that are in IT programs, you've had a relational database course, you had a database course, probably was a relational database course. So you have some familiarity with a relational database. If you don't have any familiarity with a database, DBA is going to be one of the functional training areas that I post material so you can bring yourself up to speed on all the most commonly used relational databases. Microsoft SQL Server, IBM DB2, MySQL. Those are the big three in terms of a relational database. And then other non-relational databases like MongoDB. MongoDB is a non-relational database. So I encourage you to join a training team, to join the DBA. And it may, that we got 400 people in the database. So it may be like 50 people in the DBA thing. Then if that's the case, if the groups are too big, because I don't want the groups to be any more than 5 to 10 people. Okay. And so we'll break it down further. SQL Server, DB2, MySQL. Oh, I left out Oracle. So that's another one common. Probably more market share than the other three commercial. That's a great job. The only job to me better than a DBA is an architect, IT architect. The DBA is a good job and they make good money. So that's one of the jobs. Network administrator. Okay, so you do router and switch configuration. Some of you are working on CCNA certification, top tier certification. Some of you already have one. So these are good jobs for you. Windows Server Administrator, I was looking right before the call today, I was looking over some YouTube. YouTube is outstanding. I don't need to tell you this. YouTube is an outstanding source of information for all of this stuff. So there's some great Microsoft Windows Server Administration training out there, as there is for Red Hat. Now, Red Hat, those of you that don't know anything about Linux, if you're going to be in the IT space, you need to know something about Linux. The cloud lives on Linux. It's an operating system. Most of you know that, some of you may not. You need to bring yourself up to speed on what Linux is and Linux role today. IBM AIX, so Unix is a funny thing. What Unix is just a methodology or a blueprint for creating operating system that does certain things, right? And they're variants of Unix, right? So there's Berkeley Unix, there's BCA Unix, Santa Clara organization, Unix. There's several variants of Unix, right? All of them are Unix, but what will run on one will run on other. Well, AIX is IBM variant of Unix, and it runs on a specific platform. It runs on the Power platform, which is the AS400. So that is an area. DB&T does a lot of AIX administration. For example, the young man that started, he's not only Linux, he's AIX too. But if you know one, you know the other. There are differences. AIX runs on different hardware than Linux does, but the commands are all the same. It does the same stuff. So that's a great job too. That's a great job. Windows Server Administrator. For IIS and WebSphere. So IIS is Windows Web Server, right? And that's why they have Windows Server Administrator and Windows Server Administrator. That's why they have it twice. The first one was more general in nature, creating accounts, et cetera, et cetera. This one is specifically for the web server and WebSphere. WebSphere is an IBM product. It's an application server. It's tremendously powerful. IBM makes a lot of money on WebSphere. And it's a great skill set to have. So these are good jobs. These are good jobs. Network Server Security Administrator. And I like the way that they're getting more specific about the difference between the security administrator and the general administrator. So, obviously the security administrator is going to focus on security, right, for the network. Great thing to do. VMware Administrator. VMware is a virtualization technology, probably the most prevalent virtualization technology. In my opinion, not the best virtualization technology. IBM has the best virtualization technology, something called ZVM. But VMware is a good product and widely used. Citrix is a virtual desktop technology. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Where you can access a virtual desktop. For example, if I'm on a Mac, but I need to do some PC stuff, right? I will log into a Citrix PC desktop that has, the PC-based applications, and I can use them on my Mac as if I was using them on a Windows machine. Virtualization is hot. Storage administrator. So storage is huge, right? Storage is, because think about this. This is how I like for people to think about this. Every bit on the cloud has to physically live somewhere. So that means a ton of storage. And every second that goes by, we're creating more and more data that has to live. And all that data is housed in bits, and those bits have to live somewhere. So storage administration is very serious. Now, I don't know if I said this, but for each one of these job descriptions, for each one of these jobs, they're going to give me a full job description for each one of these jobs, so you know exactly what the expectations are. I should have that in a week or so, and I will send it out to you. But I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity. I'm very pleased. BB&T is serious about this. What they're doing is they're bringing a lot of their jobs that they have offshore now, currently offshore. They're bringing them back. They're repatriating those jobs and bringing them back to North Carolina, and for obvious reasons. Cost one, security another one. But security probably overriding because they do offshoring for cost, but they do offshoring because they can't find the skills here, right? They can't find the skills. That's why they do offshoring. But the companies in India and China, they promise a lot more than they deliver. And so BB&T is not real satisfied with the work they're getting out of their contracts. In this case, in India. So, and see, this is one thing. This is why you guys need to be persistent. And some of you have been persistent. Several of you have come to every call, answer every email, and it's going to pay off because this is what the banking industry is. If BB&T needs this, Wells Fargo needs it, Bank of America needs it, Citicorp needs it, all the major banks, Fidelity needs it. They all do the same thing. They all run the same application. Or they have applications. They run different applications, but they have applications that do the same thing. Right? So they all need the same thing. So they all do offshore. And they all need people.
Anybody here?
So this is a tremendous opportunity. And I think over the upcoming years, there's going to be hundreds of jobs in this space because the apprenticeship model is the solution for the IT skill shortage. It's the solution. It's the best solution. I'm not going to say it's the only one. It's the best solution for the IT skill shortage. And companies, BB&T is just, first in. And I think they're going to reap the benefits of it. But I encourage you guys to stay engaged with this. Now, let me explain the process. So if I know you, right, it's 3 steps. this is for BB&T. This is not for IBM. So IBM, you work with them directly. I'm out of the loop with IBM. They give me feedback. Please identify yourself as a lead IT participant because that's going to help us, right? Get placement, place other people. And but IBM is kind of managing that process internally. We're helping BB&T manage their onboarding process for apprentices. And for the other companies we work with, for Cisco and for companies, two IT companies in South Carolina, we're helping them. When a job is announced and you want to apply for a job, you will send your resume to me and my team. I've got several people to work with. We will review your resume. And if I don't know you, some of you I know, and I'm going to send your resume to BB. I already got 4 or 5 resumes that I'm going to send to BB. I know. In August, so I'm jumping around, but I want to make sure I cover everything. In August, they want to place 5 to 10 people, right? In August. Now, each month thereafter, they want to place a minimum of 5 to 10 people each month thereafter. More if they can, but we got to be realistic about how fast this can go. So for the next year, each month, they're going to onboard 5 to 10 individuals, and they're very serious about it. So I've already got 5 or 6 resumes that I'm going to send to BB&T because I know them, I've communicated with them, they're good to go. But if I don't know you, I'm never going to forward a resume to any company that I'm not comfortable with. And I get comfortable when either I or one of my team interacts with you via Zoom like this, informal interview. And we're going to score you, how you present yourself, or how rough around the edges are you? Do we think you're ready to present to the company? And this is not even about technical skill, right? Because there's several of the resumes, they had no IT background at all, but they convinced me they were right for this job, and BB&T agreed. They didn't have an IT background. Now, I can't promise you that if you don't have any IT skills that you're going to move forward. The more IT skills you have, the better. Okay, the more IT skills you have, the better. Not a degree. Now, a degree is certainly not going to hurt you, but there's a whole lot of people with degrees that don't know anything because their programs didn't teach them anything. They don't know anything. Practically, right? They know some buzzwords. So when we get your resume and we don't know you, we're probably going to set up an informal conversation with you. It'll be 15 minutes. 15 minutes is all I need to know whether I need to forward your resume on to BB&T. Okay, that's all I need. I don't need any more time than that. And then once that determination is made, then your resume goes. Then it's in BB&T's hands. We will help you through that process. Kind of give you prep for the interview. We can have a test interview with you if you want one, et cetera, et cetera. So that is the process that BB&T will make the selection, and then hopefully you will get a job. I'll pause for more questions now, because I can go on and on. I can talk about this stuff all night. No, okay. So let's talk a little bit about the training areas, and that'll be it for the evening. So I propose I'm going to reorganize the website, right? Now, I sent this list out to you, and I'm going to form teams. Now, the functional area is going to be DBA, networking. I don't need two separate groups because you can't do security unless you know the basics. So same with Windows Server Administrator. Now, I may put a separate one for IIS and WebSphere, separate group for that. VMware Administrator and if I do VMware, yeah, I'm probably just going to do VMware, not do Citrix, because if you know VMware, Citrix is just an application that runs on VMware. And then storage, I'll put some stuff in the storage. I'm going to form it, I think that's 5 or 6 groups. You send me an email. I'm not going to put anybody in any groups. I mean, this is all voluntary. But that's going to show me who wants this, right? I'm always looking for, my students will tell you, I'm always looking for the people that emerge to the top, right? That are, and there's several on this call that have just been very aggressive in terms of your engagement, right? So that's going to tell me a little something about you. If you're not part of a functional team, I don't know. I don't know why I should be inclined to forge your resume if you haven't joined a team. You haven't shown me anything. I haven't seen anything from you. You send me a resume. You say, I want to forward this resume to BB&T or Company X, but you haven't done anything. You haven't even joined the team. And now I can provide Zoom for you as a collaborative tool, but you guys know how to use Google Hangouts or Skype or 10,000 other things, right? You're going to need a tool where you can collaborate, and you can just do it via email. And I think, I'm going to provide some training material, and you guys get together and say, what a game plan is, or how you are going about your training, even if you're not working with anybody else, how you are doing your training. Share your experience. If several of you, let them know. I call your name, but I don't want to like call people out, but I know who you are. Tell people how you became you. You don't have a degree, but you know how to do stuff. You know how to do stuff. You don't have a degree. Tell them how you went about it, because I know the time. I'm sorry. Somebody say something. Yeah, I know the time you put in. So that's all I have tonight. I mean, I don't like to keep you guys, just for the sake of keeping you. But I want to get this show on the road, and send me your resumes if you're interested in any of this stuff. I'll start gathering resumes and start, doing prep calls for people, scheduling, informal interviews. And if there are no further questions, I'll wait 5 seconds for any additional questions, and then I'll say good evening.
Dr. Say,
Yeah.
this is Anson.
Yeah.
When is BB&T going to do, let's say, the DBA portion?
Oh, that I don't know. That I don't know. They said 5 to 10 people. See, I don't really know how they're going to go about it. These are the people they need. There may be just one channel for everybody. You follow me? That everybody comes in the same way, and then they make a determination after you're there, which function. Because a lot of it's going to be driven by what you want to do. A lot of it's going to be driven by what you know how to do. But they haven't given me a schedule that they're going to hire DBAs. I'm thinking they're probably going to start with the networking people, but they didn't say anything yesterday to that effect. And the only reason I say that is that the networking jobs were the first jobs that were discussed. Networking jobs were supposed to actually start in January, February, and they had some legal problems. They had to get some stuff straightened out with legal and HR, and so there was a several month delay. But I don't know that they're going to start one role before or after another, because in one sense it kind of makes sense to do it that way. In another sense, it doesn't. Roles are different, so they need different skill sets. I don't know. Answer that is I don't know. I don't know that they are going to start them at a certain time. I do know that they were very clear that they wanted me to get 5 or 10 people, or that they wanted to review resumes to place 5 or 10 people in August. They were clear about that.
And Dr. Say, the tools are already up.
Say again?
The tools are already up on Lead It.
Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them are. Yeah. So there are some tools up there, but it's not organized the way I'm going to organize it. It's not organized by functional areas. So everything's on one page. And because we got this kind of diversity of skills required, probably need to organize that a little bit better. So when you go to the tools page, it's just going to have DBA skill set, network skill set, Windows skill set, etc. That's not it. But it will be, in a week or so.
Okay. So,
Dr. Say, you said there's going to be some teams that we need to email to see what team that we wanted to join.
Yeah. So let me be clear about that. Just send me you have these jobs. Yeah, I sent them in the email. So just tell me what team you want me to put you in, and I will form a list of each team, who's in each team, and I will send that to everybody in that team so you guys can collaborate.
stupid ass phone.
Don't curse your phone, son. It ain't your phone's fault. Yeah, so let me know, what functional area you want to be in.
Okay.
It can be one. I recommend at least one. At least one. If nothing more than so listen to this, because I'm very serious about the development of IT skills. I've been doing this for a long time. You need to know what it is you need to know. So there may be a person in the DBA group that already is an accomplished DBA, and he or she can share what that skill set looks like for you. Or you guys can say none of you know anything about it, and somebody do some research on what a DBA needs to know, what a DBA does, etc. Right. So for right now, the DBA part is going to be all in one place, but that may change if 50 people want to be in DBA. I don't want 50 of you guys. I don't want any more than 5 or 10 of you. Let's say 6. Let's put a cap of 6, right, on each group. Then we'll break down the groups, because you guys are going to need to collaborate, and it's just an email back and forth. Just communicate. That's all I'm saying. Communicate. Students, see, the way we have education structured really doesn't facilitate you learning how to work in IT. It's every man and woman for themselves. I got to get this grade. I ain't helping nobody. If I'm on a group project, I'm going to do all the work, right? Because I want my grade. I'm not saying the grade shouldn't be important, but that's not the way to learn IT. You've got to learn to collaborate. And that communication piece is often going to determine whether or not you can get a job. Many people have gotten IT jobs based on nothing more than their communication skills. Nothing more. So that's what I'm trying to foster. I'm trying to make us a team, right? So we don't do this as individuals, because you guys are out there just flailing around, and a lot of y'all ain't working nowhere. Some of you get working, at jobs that you don't like. You're not making any money, and you're just trying to figure it out on your own. That's not the most efficient way to do it. Collaborate. Nobody's gonna steal knowledge out of your head, right? Nobody's gonna, you're not gonna lose anything by working with people. And for example, if you're a technical lead, some of you may be technical leads for these groups. The best way to learn more about something is to teach what you know about that thing to somebody else. That will reinforce what you already know and expand what you know, right? It's something that I had to learn down the road. But I'm telling you, that is a shortcut. Everybody's looking for shortcuts. Well, there aren't really any shortcuts, but there are ways to do things with maximal efficiency, and that's one of them. I hope I've answered that question.
Dr. Sanders, thank you for this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you thank me by doing well. Who's that, Kenji?
All right.
Who is that? I don't recognize the voice.
JD Quinnichet.
Oh, yeah, JD. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, you thank me by doing well. That's how you thank. It's all the things I want. I mean, I appreciate it.
Well,
I appreciate the words.
you pinpointed the problem that I've been having, because I've been wanting to work in IT for since the early part of 2000, and I have been groping in the dark. And the whole idea of collaborating, and just kind of what you're saying is start where you are, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And I really needed the even the overview part, where you said they cut off your funding and you continued on anyway. A lot of what you're talking about is we have to do the same thing. It doesn't matter what the climate dictates. You still have to put in the work and make sure you are ready to fill these positions. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I hope the people that are still on heard every word you said, because there was a lot of wisdom in that. And you're definitely doing the right thing. And so when you form these teams, because my schedule is kind of flexible this summer, I'm busy, but I always make time for my people. If you guys want to have a meeting, you're not limited to meeting when I call a meeting. Okay, your team can meet anytime you want to meet. And if you want me to be a part of those meetings, I'll be glad to the extent that I can. But I encourage you guys to get online and just talk. That's what JD was saying. Just share your experience. Share, what, if you don't have a job in IT, why do you think you don't have a job in IT? share, I applied to so-and-so and they said this or whatever, right? Just communicate. And that's going to help you a lot because IT is a team sport. And I learned a long time ago that I didn't have to be the smartest guy in the room. I just need to know who the smartest guy in the room was, right? That's all I need to know. And make friends with that guy or girl. That's all I need to know. And that's what I do. I mean, people think I'm a lot smarter than I really am. They think I know a lot more than I really do. It's not that. It's that I know who knows, right? I know I can pick up the phone. How do I do this? And that's what you got to get over. We live in, because we live in an individualistic society. This is not it's not a call for philosophy, my personal philosophy. We live in a society based on survival of the fittest, which is crazy. That is not the way the human animal survives anywhere in the world. We survive in communities. That's how we survive, in communities. And we're out here beating up each other, trying to climb this wall by ourselves and just, pulling our fingernails out because we can't get any traction. We'll do it a smart way. Use other people's intelligence to help you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to give another 5 seconds. I always give a 5-second pause before I depart. But thanks for that, JD. 5 seconds, and if anybody's got any further questions.
Hey, Mr. Shea, this is Edgar again.
Hey, Edgar.
I was looking through the list just now.
Mhm.
I'd love to say that between the network administrator, the Windows Server administrator, the network security administrator for firewalls, VMware administrator, and Citrix administrator, all these are like spider web together.
Yeah.
Because since I started this position in the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
I started off with the actual routing and switches,
Right.
taught me the actual the web base for Citrix and VMware,
Mhm.
and everything that has to coincide with the firewalls to make everything work for the VMware and the actual Citrix receiver.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, all IT is an interconnection between disparate technologies, database, networking, programming, web, etc. It's the interconnection between those. So your point is spot on. If your point was that there's an aggregation of these, I agree. But when you study them, like when you study VMware, you can't study VMware without knowing something about networking. But they will, in the pursuit of that VMware knowledge, they will tell you the networking that you need. The more networking you bring to the learning environment, the better. But a lot of that external stuff that's external to the actual technology, for example, VMware networking, is embedded in teaching VMware. When I teach you to use VMware, I can't teach you to use VMware without teaching you something about networking.
Yeah.
I can't teach you database without teaching you something about networking. So networking touches all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, your point's well taken. And see, those are the kind of observations. That didn't come to mind. It came to your mind. It didn't come to mine, but you shared it and it was beneficial. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that benefited from that observation. This is all about cumulative knowledge, right? So that is another reason I want to foster this collaboration among everybody. But I can't force you. I can't force you. And well, I better. Well, it's 8:54. I'm going to end the call now. Email me if you have any further questions. Everybody's got my email, and I'll see you guys next time. We may have a meeting. I only call meetings when there's something new to share. So be on the lookout and go to the website, periodically, because I'm going to be making some changes to it in terms of the content. And send me what technical group you want to be in, and I'll put you in that group.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Everybody be safe.
You too. Bye now.